That's pretty good. All right, now we're on the analogy section. And so we need to fill out that top little diagram with the maxims action and its effect, and then the dissimilar action and the parallel effects. So remember, dissimilar doesn't mean opposite here. It just means it's a similar thing that's not the same. I think the dissimilar is kind of a weird way of putting it, but whatever. I didn't write this. And maybe there's a good reason for it, and I'm probably just not smart enough to know. So our maxims action, what is going on in this maxim? So remember, the actual saying is, each man is like those in whose company he delights. So what is actually going on here? What is the person doing in this action? And so perhaps he's spending a lot of time with a friend, or he's I don't know. That's a good way of saying it. I can't say it any better. So what is the effect of that? What is the effect of spending time with somebody? Well, you start to take on their qualities. You start to act like them and think like them, and maybe even smell like them. Who knows? So we need to think of another situation where spending time around something else or with something else makes it take on those qualities of the thing that it's around. Okay, so can you think of any situations in your lives where something being in a certain situation and it starts to take on those qualities of the things that are around it or the things that are near it? So one thing you could do is you could think of, perhaps you know people that live with smokers, or maybe you do yourself. I don't know. And well, if you have friends that live with somebody who smokes, even though they don't smoke themselves, what happens when they leave their house and they go out in public? Because they've spent so much time with that smoker, they start to smell like that smoker. And a lot of times, I mean, even the more time that you spend around those people, you smell it less and less. So those people don't notice, they don't realize that they smell like that smoker, because they've been so fully immersed in that it doesn't even smell bad. Now, to people who don't smoke, it's like, whoa. But the more you are with a smoker, the less that you notice that smell. Another analogy, I remember when I was younger and I used to get a lunch every day and a brown paper bag, and I'd usually have a banana in there. Well, towards the end of the day, anything else that was in my lunch bag, when my banana was in there, all those other things started tasting and smelling like bananas. It was really strange. And so they're soaking up the qualities of that banana. Maybe, I don't know, maybe you have some smelly shoes and you take them off and you leave them in your closet, and you shut your closet doors. Everything else in your closet is going to start smelling stanky. So these are just some ideas. I think this is a pretty easy one for coming up with an analogy. And I really hope that you come up with your own and you don't copy one of mine. So the recognition here is the recognition from your own analogy. And so we can recognize that smells or odors can be passed on from one person to another. The reversal is that the people start to smell bad even though they aren't smoking. The suffering, well, people have to suffer. I mean, if you're not used to smoking and you're around somebody who is a smoker or who has been around people that are smokers, it smells really bad. The agents here, your agent of your analogy is going to be whatever thing is soaking up the odor or whatever it is, that's going to be your agent. And so depending upon your analogy, like in if I was going to use the thing about the smelly shoe in the closet, perhaps my clothes in my closet would be my agents because they're soaking up the smelly shoes. Well, no, they're soaking up the smell from the shoes. All right. And then the action of that, the action is that they're locked in a closet with the shoes. The time, well, it's not going to happen over the period of like 5 minutes. So we need some sort of length of time here. So maybe over a long time, over a long period of time, something like that. The place for my analogy of the closet would be in the closet. Manner. How are these things doing this action? How are they? Now, if my action was that they're locked in a closet together, or they're shut up in a closet, then the manner would that be that they're nearby each other. They're closely associated with each other. And the cause, why would this be happening? Why would this transfer of odor be happening? And so we could say something like, because the qualities of one thing can be passed on to another thing if they are close by each other. So then you're going to put all these together in your paragraph. Now remember, your analogy paragraph usually starts out with something like, just as a blank does blank, so a blank does blank. Okay, so you're going to use your things that you filled out up above and say, just as a smelly shoe in a closet makes all the clothes take on that stench, so does a man take on the qualities of somebody that he spends a lot of time with. So remember to start out your analogy with just as, and then you're going to compare your two analogies with each other. No, you're going to compare your two stories with each other.